Hi, how are you? Welcome back to Irene Wairimo Musembi YouTube channel. This is a channel where you meet with Irene Wairimo Musembi, where M stands for motivation, I encourage, I empower, I also inspire. I hope my testimonies from the people I've been bringing to you, they've been inspiring you to move on. And apart from that, teach and train the word of God. So karibuni sana. Today, I'm happy to have a guest with me here by name Kelvin. Welcome, Kelvin.
Thank you.
So you can introduce yourself. He has a testimony to give us. And today, you need to clap for me. A clap. Because this is that gentleman I'm inviting in my YouTube channel to come and testify. You know what? It's very hard to get men coming out, talking about themselves, talking about the challenges they faced and how they have overcome them. Mostly when you see, when opportunities are given in churches, you know what? Testimony time, mostly are women. Women, we are able to talk about it freely. But for men, they a bit reserved. And today, I have that gentleman. So congratulations, Kelvin, for taking this opportunity to come out and tell other men, you can talk about yourself, you can encourage someone else. And when things are tough, it doesn't mean that everything is done. No. Karibu sana, so we can start by introducing yourself and tell us where you come from, where you were brought up, and from there, you take us straight to your story.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So good morning. It's good to be here. Thank you, Irene, for the invite. I appreciate and start by introducing myself. My name is Kelvin Songwa Agani. I'm born and bred in Kakamega County. That's where I grew part of my life. Studied partly in the lower class. Came to the city to continue with the education journey. I appreciate that the journey has been very interesting because now coming to the city, through now from upper primary all the way to finishing my class 8, and of course now going back again to Western. That's where I did my my secondary education in a school called Senende Boys High School. So the beauty about that is that now I will have a mix of both in the city and urban places. So I understand the challenges in the urban places and the challenges in the city, in the rural areas, and that gave me a lot of challenges to know about challenges about life. And therefore, just like any normal child, I went through all those challenges in growing up. As a young person, sometimes you have challenges with food, you have challenges with education, because you're a number of children, because in our family we are 10, and therefore you can imagine the challenges in terms of resources. Without you, 10 of us.
You are number what?
I'm number 3.
Congratulations to your dad. Let me ask you.
Yes.
10 children plus him, and you say that he's also?
That is another, so we are 12. So that's our whole family, and you can imagine sometimes when you have resources here and there, it's a challenge. But anyway, God was faithful. So going again through college, I studied in insurance. That's exactly what I did. I got inspiration from my dad, who was a very successful insurance agent. He worked with Kenya National Assurance. He was successful in that field.
Okay.
Then, of course, having left that, like any other person.
Before you go to another point, I want you to talk about being an insurance agent, because again, young people, they don't want to sell insurance. By the way, we come from the same industry, insurance industry, so this is insurance team. And most young people, they don't want to get engaged in insurance because they think it's a bit hard. How has it been?
Yes, it's not easy. One, by the time I was joining insurance, just to accept that this career works, I didn't have so much knowledge about it. But I would ride on my father's, know-how in terms of how the industry is, because sometimes you'll find him very successful, getting clients, will tag me along. I remember when I left college, he'll ask me to go to his office and just do, a bit of internship, just to see how the job is. So later on, when I found myself in the industry, it is not easy because challenges in terms of people accepting insurance We still have a lot of challenge in Kenya.
The uptake.
The uptake is a challenge. Clients were still very resistant. People felt like insurance is a con game.
Okay.
So people will not really take up. In fact, right now, I appreciate that the industry is much better. There's a lot of training. There's a lot of support from the companies.
Okay.
And of course, IRA has come in to help just to understand the awareness about insurance. So right now, I can tell anyone who wants to join the industry, you could be able to join. Okay. We still have so many opportunities.
Okay, the opportunity is there.
It is there.
And by the way, the penetration rate is 2.75. So we are talking about penetration rates being very low and the opportunity being very high, over 97%.
Yes, yes.
So how was your transition after college? You came to, after Form 4, you went to college or you went straight to your dad's place? Tell us that transition, because again, there are people who have just completed Form 4 and they are wondering, from here, what next? What next,
So this is what happened after Form 4. Of course, now I went to college, but I had to stay about 2 years without, those times that you were just thinking what to do. Remember, the other children were also being supported by dad. So I went into manual, rather we call casual labor. So I will go to the quarries. I have worked in the mining.
What?
Yes. Where you go and you try mining. Kakamega is very known for those times for gold, what we call gold mine.
Gold mine.
So we'll go to those mining places and you try to work there. Sometimes very not easy, so I would live there. I would also go to work in the farms.
Okay.
That time we were being paid 70 shillings per day.
Per day.
Yes. And sometimes it was not easy. Remember, the 70 shillings you were paid, but even getting that job was not as easy. Because we had other men who build. So when you come there, I was a very young man. People wondering, will this boy really work?
And a very tiny boy.
And a very tiny boy. So sometimes we'll be dismissed.
Okay.
So it was a blessing when we get a job. But that 70 shillings will help because it will help me get, sugar for the family. That time my mom was in farming. So whatever I get, I come home with it and we grew that way. But the best thing about this, it will harden me to look at life differently. That life is not that easy. But thank God that later on I went to college.
What would you tell young people? Because then they don't want to get rich very fast.
Yes.
They don't want to pay the price.
Yes.
I don't know what you tell them.
Good. You see, one, life is not easy. And I always tell young people to imagine that if today they will be living without their parents, because most of them will depend on their parents. Because my parents has this, my parents has that. If today you wake up and find you have no parents, what are you going to do? You will still have to live this life. So you need to live as if my parents put a note there, so that you start hardening yourself and trying to look at life differently and start focusing on yourself. And the focus will be in terms of what can I be able to do to enhance my life or to make my life better. I've seen young people getting into music, I've seen young people getting into art. See, these are very good things because then you will be able now even to build yourself in case there's no one to rely on. Because tomorrow we're not guaranteed. Sometimes you might wake up and things are very different. What are you going to do? So I encourage young people not just to focus on what they have at hand because of their parents or because of their other support system. But what can you do for yourself as a person? Yeah, there are talents, people have talents. There are people who know how to draw, there are people who know how to sing, there are people who know how to act. There are those, natural talents that come out of these young men. And we need to utilize on that and leverage on that to make sure that tomorrow they're able to use that to also generate income for themselves.
Wow, that's very good. And apart from the natural talents, you also get a skill. You go to college, you get a skill that will assist you, because for natural talents, they're short-lived within a certain time. Because at 90, I don't think you'd be able to go and jump and dance and all that. So you need also a skill. Thank you. So after college, what happened? You got a job or what?
Now, that's another interesting part. After college, now there were no jobs. I partly worked in my father's company for few months, because then again, working with the party is not easy. Everything is free. So you're not being paid. So you're offering free service because they have given you an office. All you need to learn and grow yourself. So I will be there. Sometimes he'll give me something small for transport or for lunch. But remember, you're going back to his house. So he feels like, well, why should I pay you?
And I'm giving you everything.
I'm giving you everything. Of which sometimes I find it a little bit not so good.
Yeah.
I think parents also need to appreciate the fact that it's a career that children are taking, and also just to encourage them, even if it's something small. But those were those times. I know that now things have changed. Things should have changed.
Also, our parents were very harsh.
They were very harsh, yes, then.
Yes.
But again, that part also really shaped us.
Okay.
And I think I was shaped in that area because then I knew how to work for money. You'll find right now, young people want things coming their way very easy. What we call microwave solutions. You want this thing just come to you very easily. You don't know how to look for it. You don't know how to work hard for it. So it comes easy at the point where when things are hard,
Yes.
you find them now going into very bad activities.
Okay.
And you find now their life taking a different turn. So I did appreciate the fact that even through that hard challenge, I learned that it is good to work and work hard for that money. So then you will be able to help.
So how did you depart from your dad's cocoon comfort, where you'll be provided for everything, and then what happened? You gave me a story.
Okay, so now for my dad, remember now I'm still living with him, and we're still working together.
Okay.
Then I used to talk to my brother. My brother just moved out from our home, so he was living at his own residence.
Okay.
So I kept talking to him and telling him I feel very compressed in this house because then you see everything you have to be sent for, everything you have to do everything. Sometimes my parents don't think that you're getting tired. Okay. Sometimes they don't know what you want in your own time. So I find I had no freedom, and not freedom in a bad way, but you see, just time to think about yourself. Sometimes just to try and work for what is rightfully yours, because all this time now I'm depending on him for everything. And sometimes he'll come to my room, he will wake me up anytime, he can send me anytime. And again, you'll find that everything is on him. If you have money, you want to ask him for money. If you don't have whatever, so you have to ask that. So in my mind, I was just thinking, how do I even start my own life?
And this time around, you're also working, eh?
Yes, I'm now working,
okay.
And now I just moved from, after 3 to about 6 months, I moved out of this company. I got an internship with a company called Blue Shield Insurance. So when I went to Blue Shield, that's the time I felt, can I forge in my life? Because then I'm feeling like I just need to think about myself.
Okay.
There's just that feeling of dependence. You want to depend on yourself, and you feel a bit tired because you keep asking for everything. And I also want to work so I can also have my shilling. Remember before, I wasn't being paid. I was internship, so he will give me whatever he feels like. But this time around, I also want to go and
get your own money.
Get my own money and start my own life.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was not easy. One, I just told my brother, I want to move out. And he told me, you have to make a decision. So one day my father is out of the country, and on a Sunday afternoon, I decided today I'm moving out.
You disappeared from your father's house?
I disappeared. Not in a bad way, but I informed my mom.
How come you never sat down with him and tell him, Dad, I want to move out?
Well, one, he will have said no.
And I thought for boys it is far much easier than for girls. Like I remember when I was moving out after campus and I got my first job. My dad didn't want to release me.
Yes.
Well, I was his favorite.
Okay.
But a time came, I told him,
yes,
now a time has come for me. I want to experience my life.
Yes.
As Swahili, I want to experience my life. I want to have my own life. And he was like, no. But at long last, after long discussions, do you know what? We went out, and he got me a house.
Wow.
He did it himself. We walked. We moved from one place to another, some place in Kikuyu, and we got a house, and he was comfortable. This is the place. Wow. And he assisted me moving in.
Okay.
So sometimes I think it depends also with the relationship with the parents.
Yes. But that was very harsh. And definitely not allow me to
go.
He was a disciplinarian. Very tough. We grew up knowing that, in fact, ours was a war. It was not discipline. You will literally fight. I mean, he had really trained you properly. So I would, once, in fact, just having that discussion or the thought of moving out with him would not go well.
So it was easy with the mother?
Yes, it was easy because my mother would talk to him and all. And I think that's where our fathers will come in, to really just have a sitting. Because I remember we never had a very, very close relationship with my dad. He was very supportive, very
But
good.
imagine, a father of 10 children and 2 wives.
Yes.
I mean, even this man
Yes.
had a lot on his plate.
On his plate, yes,
Yes.
true. So we had just to wave into it, I mean, to try and just consider that move with mom, and I left. And having left, I began my life outside. Of course, he had the information later on, was a bit angry, but he came to understand that I think it's time for this boy to move out. So I moved out, began my life in a place called Kayole, in a small room, a very small, tiny room with one bed, and not even bed, I began sleeping down. Just mattress, put your mattress down there with your bed sheets, and you sleep. And that's how life began.
And you wake up not from the bed, but from the ground, from the floor.
From the floor. And that's how you need to start, going out. And so I was like, hey, first of all, did I make the right decision?
Okay.
But then I still knew that this is what the kind of life I've chosen, and I have to move it so that I can be able to start planning things about myself. Yeah, so life continued like that, and I thank God because even the internship I got now from the other place, were not paying me, but later on they started appreciating me with small allowance. But again, I was extra aggressive in the place. I would go to the customer service, staff, and ask them if they need anything out there. I would go and buy for them. Whatever they needed for breakfast, snacks. They send me for office errands. I go out there, I go to Sharia house, I go to KRA, they tip you with something small.
Okay.
So that made me to understand them, and then of course they did appreciate my aggression. And even the boss really looked, because I would do everything. I would be in the store because my job was actually basically the store, planning, putting up the files, the claim files, and insurance. You can imagine the kind of files which are there.
Those old days, those files are so many and so dusty.
And so dusty. And this room has no ventilation, it has no window, so you leave that room very sweat and so on. But either way, it was a good time to learn. So later on, they put me on a small remuneration of 5,000.
Wow.
So now I'm living in Kayole, 5,000. Yes, I have to pay. My house was paying 1,500. So planning everything. But that money really helped me to start.
It was also a stepping stone to another level?
Yes, it was. So a transition. One of the agents who used to come, he had very, a big portfolio of business. I realized that as a young man, he is very aggressive, he's meeting clients, he's really doing a good job. So he really called me. We went to his office, we talked, and I got a job.
Wow.
So he put me on a salary of 15,000.
From 5,000 to
15,000.
An increment of 10,000.
Yes.
So you got that nimefika.
For me that was it. That's a big deal. Okay. In fact, when I got that appointment, I was very happy. A small office, but then I was doing office claims, I was doing underwriting, I was doing meeting clients and so on and so forth. So again, continues life. Fast forward, I left the place because again business also went down. Now there were no payments, were not being paid and so on. Okay. But I thank God for that gentleman. He rested this year. May God rest his soul in eternal peace. COVID one day will be defeated. He died of COVID recently, but he did a good job. He's our first person who really shaped me and molded me in the industry.
Then from there, so that we don't take time about the introduction aspect.
Yes.
So we have another part of your life, which is touching. When I heard about your story, I'm like, oh my, what a tragedy. So tell us.
Yeah, I got married in 2014 through church, and all was well. God blessed us with.
Tell us how you met the girl, because again, young men sometimes they were like, now how do I identify? And nowadays girls are so many, and they are so beautiful and very educated. So how do you identify a girl? 2014, you're talking as if it's kitambo. It's just recently.
Not very far. 2014 was about 8 or 9 years ago.
Of course, So tell us.
All right.
You gave me a story how you met us.
Yes. We met in church. I did frequent church a lot. I was a youth leader by then. I loved church because again, the foundation of the parents, you know, they let us go to church. My father was a pastor in church. So you can imagine.
Oh, he was a pastor?
Yes, he was
with
a
two
pastor.
wives? Or what happened?
Yes.
Or he became a pastor after marrying the second?
After.
Oh, after.
After.
Oh, okay,
yes.
fine.
That was his life before then
Okay.
after.
Okay.
Yeah, so we already in church, going to church, and now I was a leader. And you know, I will mold the youths, I will welcome them, I will also ask them in different departments I would want to, you know, be involved into. And that was actually what helped us now to, you know, just be able to be engaged in godly things in the church. There's choir, there is all those things that the youth do. So one Saturday afternoon, we had a wedding,
Okay.
and some 3 girls walked in, and they looked like they were not very comfortable with the queue that was there, because that time when weddings happen, you have to queue to get to the food, you know, all that. So I was the one serving the drinks.
Yes.
So I asked them if they would, because they were now just feeling like out of place.
Okay.
I had to serve them some drinks. I told them, just as you take these drinks, the queue will have moved.
Okay.
Yeah, so they felt comfortable. I noticed one who was a bit calm, didn't talk so much. She was just cool, collected. And I'll say, I think what I noticed was the smile from this girl. She looked very polite. Others, you know, just they would interact with the conversation. But this one was quite calm, not much stories. And she was just okay with what was happening.
Her smile
Is actually what attracted me to her.
attracted you.
Yes.
Okay.
But then,
And the fact that she was quiet and calm.
yes.
Okay.
But then I will not really know if she is the one.
Okay.
Because that was just on the, you know, the first sight. You look at someone and
Okay.
like, okay, this is a good smile. But later on, it transitioned to friendship, because now she will come to church, you know, once in a while, but then I will invite her to church over and over,
Okay.
join the team and so on and so forth. And she became very aggressive. Later on, joined the choir. We now were participating in youth, and now we're in the same choir and all that. Again, someone who loves the church so much, she will almost not attend all the services. She will be able to join us in activities, and that now made us know each other at a close level. We became friends and we started sharing information. And I think that's where most of the things start from. Friendship. I know things nowadays have turned. You find young men, it is a relationship first before in friendship. I would like people to make friends first.
Okay.
Because that was actually what made us know each other very well.
Okay.
So from friendship, now we knew about each other, her background and my background. Inside, even, you know, just carrying each other in prayer and lifting each other in prayer and, you know, sharing a lot.
Then later, you married, or you proposed and married.
Yeah, I continued that way, but I was praying. Remember, this time I was very ripe in getting married.
Okay.
So I was also trusting God for, yes, I was trusting God for a spouse.
Okay.
So I engaged her. Of course, there's in terms of dating and just getting to know each other well, but also it was a time of prayer as well. So she agreed. We went home, paid the dowry, proposed to her, and did a wedding.
Wow.
In church.
Congratulations. Okay.
Yes. So we are blessed with 3 children. A boy is an older boy. And now 2 other. One is a 5-year-old and one is just recently.
There's a portion there I want you to talk about.
Yes.
You married her
Yes.
when she had a baby.
Yes. Yes.
So what happens, because sometimes in churches, when a girl gets a baby, some people feel that's the end of her.
Yeah.
And some young men wouldn't like to be associated with a girl with a baby. Or even some parents would say, no, I don't want a daughter-in-law who has a baby. So just in few words, so that we get to your story.
Yes. I think one, if you love a lady and she has a child, I don't think that should be a hindrance for you not to marry the girl.
Okay.
Because I know that is what some people will like. But he has a child, or she has a child. Why can't I do that? For me, my story was very different because I loved her, and I loved the baby as well, and I will not define, you know, her future with her past, because then that was her past. We went through it, and you know, just like any other challenge that she went through, she did regret. She went through it. She, you know, prayed about it, and she had to move on. And one thing I appreciate is that we'd rather, you know, see the child, because you know that she had to be strong enough to go through that process. There are people who would rather do their abortion and all that. I don't advocate for that. It happens, you know, carry that cross make peace with your
Move with
maker,
it.
and move with it.
Wow.
So I loved her confidence and courage that she would be able to have the baby, and that's what actually, you know, I knew she would be able to conquer life even in other measures.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't have a problem with that, and we got married. Of course, parents were like, "Will you even get married to her with a child?" And I told them yes.
This is the girl.
This is the girl.
You were so strong, and you
Yeah.
said this is the girl.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we moved on. We moved with the baby, and right now he's a big boy, born too.
Wow, that's good.
And now he's also blessed with a girl who's now 5-year-old. Then last year, that is in 2020, just as our life had moved on swiftly, helping each other, marriage has challenges.
Yes.
And so we will not let the challenges, you know, put us down. We will also always step on our challenges. There are differences here and there. But one thing that I want to urge people is, if you don't, the Bible says very well that if two cannot work together unless they agree. And therefore, in marriage, people have to agree that we have to walk this journey. You will find someone who has weaknesses, someone has different challenges when they grew up. That should not define who that person is.
Yes.
But we help each other because it's complementing each other. One of our motto in our marriage was, no one is a winner, no one is a loser.
Yeah.
We win all of us and we lose all of us. So then if a mistake comes up, we talk about the same motto. If this happened, it is for all of us. We've lost all of us, or either we've won all of us. So that kept us going, and we used to pray together. Our marriage is founded on prayer.
Okay.
Because when, you know, prayer is a shield, it keeps you going. When even the storms come, you find a way to move on. Yeah, so just as a life, of course, we were founded in church, you know, grew in church, and now right now we were pastoring in the church.
Okay.
And she
So
was
you graduated from youth leader
yes,
to a
pastor.
pastor.
Yes.
Wow.
Then started with pastor, then I just rose to a pastor.
Okay.
And so we will lead services, we lead fellowship together, and she was really there to support me in the ministry. So 2020, when there was COVID and people not going to church and all that, so we were just in our house doing fellowship. Another brethren will join us in the fellowship. And we'll fellowship properly.
Oh, during COVID, eh?
During COVID.
Or you had your fellowship in your home?
Yes, we have fellowship in our house. So people will come, we sit together, we do our fellowship Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sundays. So a whole week was just a week of prayer and fellowship.
Okay.
Yeah, and this time she was very strong in ministry, very courageous, you know, supporting women, bringing women together for prayers. They will have different meetings because now she was really, you know, eager to see women grow and even to couple women, because we also had coupled quite a number of marriages. So this will really help her continue growing in the Word of God. Yeah, so in 2020 we were expecting our third born. Yeah, so around September thereabout is when, actually October is when she was supposed to be due. But during that time, she had no challenges. She was okay.
The first trimester, the second.
Very okay.
But the third, what happened?
So the third trimester is where we got a challenge because at that time, because just before she will be able to get this baby, she began getting contractions. Woke up one morning and contractions. And then we realized that it was time to go to hospital.
Okay.
So we left to go to hospital. That is on 21st of September 2020. We went to hospital. We were going to Mata Hospital for delivery. So we went there, got to the hospital. Now this time we were received by the doctor. Doctor checked her and she was ready for delivery because she had opened up. So we went to the admission room. She was.
Before that,
yes.
Had you informed the children at all? Because
No.
there's something you said when
Yes.
you're giving me the story.
Yes. So we didn't inform the children because she insisted that we should not tell them.
Okay.
She said that we should not tell the children that we are going to the hospital and that this will be a surprise to.
Oh, she wanted a surprise to the children.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Because yes, they will realize that we are expecting some guests, but they don't know when. So we'll just leave, think we are going and we'll come back.
Okay.
They told me it would be a surprise. But one thing she told me, she'll miss the girl so much because that time she was on leave and she needed time to spend with her so much. She told us that I'll really miss her told her, but it's okay, you'll come back.
Oh, she said before
Yes.
when you were going,
When
and
we were
this the
going.
girl.
Yeah,
She
told
didn't
me.
know that she was not coming back.
She didn't know, or well, I'll say most likely there are those, signals
Okay.
that she will give me, but I would not really notice clearly.
Okay.
It will be a surprise. I'll miss this guy. Now those were quite signals. So I went to the hospital. I didn't think about it so much because either way I didn't expect the worst. But going to the hospital is when now things took a different turn because we were not informed anyone, no family member, no friends, no one. So we'll just go to the hospital.
Including your senior pastor?
Yes.
Or your leader?
Actually, no one.
Okay.
Of course, they knew that we were expecting, so they will pray with us over time. As
But
we-
that specific day you did
Yes.
not informed anyone?
We didn't inform anyone. So we go to the hospital, and now we are admitted. And of course, now the pain persists. Labor pains persist. Yeah, so the doctor will come in, out, check her pulse, check the baby's heartbeat, all those observations will be done. And everything was fine and okay. Then around 3, I was with her, and she asked me to pray with her because the pain was very severe. The contractions were now very, very severe. So she told me, continue praying and just rubbing my back so that I can be able to relieve pain. So I will do that as we pray. So at some point she told me, call the doctor. So when I asked to call the doctor came, examined her. Of course, the doctor burst the water, and now this pain was too much for her, too much. So she had just slept on one side. So the doctor told me, why don't you just try to talk to him or try to help him up, so that now we can see how far she is before she delivers.
So, you lift her?
Yes, because she was sleeping on one side.
Okay.
So I wanted to lift her so that she could face up, so they can try and help her in delivery. Because then I think she was close to either to 8, then I think 9, thereabout. So they will be able to check her over and over to confirm how far she is. The doctor just stepped out, so I was holding her to help her rise and just look up so that she could be able to be examined. So when I tried just helping her to assist her look up, she convulsed.
You noticed that she convulsed?
Yes, she convulsed because it happened. This was someone who was just okay, but in convulsion you'll find someone is stiff all of a sudden.
Very stiff, yeah.
Yes, and they just very something just happens that is very strange. Yes, in terms of the body, in terms of the outlook, even how everything was, and I realized this is a problem. So I rang the bell, the doctors came. The doctors realized that it was an emergency case.
Wow.
So I went out of the room, they came in, the doctors came in, read the place, everyone was there from, the delivery unit, the emergency unit, all the doctors were called to help in, trying to curb the situation. Now, at this point now, the others were doing resuscitation because this is like a heart attack, and now the others was trying to save the baby. So these ones will be able to start doing the emergency CS, and the other team is doing resuscitation. So it went on and on. I stepped out and just began praying and seeking the Lord and trying to, intercede for her. But then it was not easy because I kept praying, but I also want to know how she is doing. But the doctor just made me just wait, we'll let you know. And they just stayed. So they there for about 2 hours. Around 5 is when I was called.
And all this time you had not called anyone, including your parents or your siblings or anyone? Or even a friend?
I now began calling them because my phones and everything was in the room, and doctors would not allow me to be there this time. I was just outside the room. But everything was there. But of course there are numbers which I had offered. And these numbers I will just be able to call. So I started calling my mom, I called my dad, I called my siblings, I called my pastor, the ones I will be able to know offhand. I just told them, let's pray. We have an emergency in the hospital because my wife was due. This is what has happened. So through that, around 5 is when I was called, and the doctor told me, we have really done our best. She is critically ill right now because there's something called amniotic fluid embolism is what happened. So we've tried to assist the baby because we did resuscitation. She is still critically ill, but you can feel the pulse rate. Her heartbeat is being felt, but from very far. But we will be able to just contain the situation, but she has to go to ICU. So again, still strong, but of course we are a lot of mixed reactions because I'm just wondering what exactly happened because this is someone who was with
such
us.
a
She was
short
okay.
time, and this is not the first pregnancy.
No, it's not the first pregnancy. Yeah, so we go to ICU, and again ICU is there up to around 7. Nothing really happening. She's still critically ill and conscious, not talking, nothing. So again we pray, but this time I asked the doctor, I've not even seen the baby. I don't know how the baby is. So they take me where the baby is. I meet the baby is again critically ill. Baby is not responding, not breathing, is intubated on oxygen and all that. So again another challenge.
Now it's a double tragedy.
Yes, double. You have two people in your life who all of a sudden you're just wondering what exactly happened. All of a sudden. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm there, and then my brother comes to check on me and tells me the doctors want to see you briefly because they also want to give you information about
The progress.
the progress of my wife. So I go up there, but this time I'm going there reluctantly. I don't know what is happening to me. I feel a bit wary. I've been there for the whole day. I've prayed.
You're worn out. You're
I'm so worn out.
discouraged.
I'm discouraged because I'm looking at two people who I love so much,
Yeah.
and all of them are just in very bad state. So I meet the doctors, and doctors tell me we have done another cycle of resuscitation because she also convulsed again at some point. So we have been trying. We've done about 25 cycles, and we are not seeing progress, but we are still continuing. So this is just to inform you that. But that one, when they were explaining to me, I felt emotionally disturbed, and I felt emptiness all of a sudden. I felt no urge of prayer, nothing, and I felt totally confused. Because now I was wondering what is happening because...
And then you are wondering, what is the doctor up to?
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
with all these stories, sometimes you are like, please, I'll leave your stories. Let me know
Yes.
now the end results.
Exactly. Let me just know. But I realized when they're talking to me, it was a way of preparing me because, they have to take transitions that we expect in case anything happens.
Yeah.
But I knew at that time how I was feeling and how those words would come to me. I knew something was wrong. And that's where I asked my brother, tell me what exactly is the problem.
Yes.
He will not really engage because he also already had information. So I went in there, I saw her lying there, and I felt like something just...
They allowed you to get into there?
Yes. Okay. I was actually in the... Even before I left to see the child, I was in the ICU. I would come in, go out and just pray. But this time when I came and I saw her, I felt totally a different wave. I felt like something had just come out of me. Yeah? I felt like, there's a transition. I don't know, it was a feeling which I've never felt before, but I felt something just got out of me. It's like we were two people and I'm remaining one of a sudden.
Has gone.
Yes. And I felt so broken.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
My viewers, that's the first part of the story.
Yeah.
I'm requesting for just 2 minutes so that we come back to the second part of our story. After emptiness, what happened to Kelvin? Because he says he felt something went out from him. So we want to hear from there what happens. Just 2 minutes for a break. Welcome back, my viewers. After the emptiness, what happens?
Good. So now, this is the time we've gone out through all this. Now, confirm the news, she's no longer with us. We start arranging for burial. After burial, then
how did the doctor break it to you?
The doctor, well, the last time we talked about that's how we never talked about it again, because I think from that point when my brother talked to me and told me that we've lost her.
What?
Yeah, because I think even for them it was very hard for them. It was not easy for them to break the news because they just knew what I had gone through the whole time.
Okay.
So I saw this and I would not imagine someone who I have lived with all that life is no longer with me. It was a very sad
Moment.
moment.
Okay.
It was hard and very difficult. But I had to, position myself, but very weak. I won't lie that I was okay. I was very, very worn and broken from inside.
Then as a pastor, how
Yeah.
do you approach the congregation,
Yeah.
your friends?
Mm.
Now you have double
Yes.
or tragedy,
Yes.
a child in ICU,
Yeah.
and now
Mm.
burial to organize. So
Yeah.
how did you handle that?
Yeah, so now this comes in very hard. I had a very good support system, and my friends and congregation will be able to know the kind of life we've lived and the kind of relationship we had with them. And they will just come to support. They will not ask many questions because they knew this was not the right time. They will consult and just pray and just come in where they could come in.
Okay.
Friends will come in and help. Colleagues will just come in and help. The support system was very, very good. And so they will come in, all the committees, going home, arranging for burial, and then now coming back now, even to see the child who was now in hospital. Remember, we had left the baby in the hospital, still critically ill, even as we go for burial.
Now,
Yes.
you had not told the children.
Mm,
You're going back home without the mother,
yeah,
or even without the child.
yeah.
So what do you tell your firstborn and the girl?
Yes, so I meet the children much because even the time when this happened, I didn't even sleep home. I went to my brother's place because I couldn't even meet the children. I was wondering what to go on to tell them after this loss. Because we went with mom and she's not here. So how am I going to approach this situation? Yeah, so I took time and just thought through what I'm going to talk to them about. So I had a young girl and the boy. The boy, of course, will be able to understand very fast.
Yeah.
So I had to sit with him and talk to him just like an adult.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to sugarcoat things because later on he will have found the truth. So I sat with him, we took some time out, and I told him about what exactly had happened. That mom was this, mom was okay. We left him to the hospital. She was just due so that we can get our baby. But something happened, it was an emergency. And it was something which was uncontrollable. We always tried their best, but they could not manage. She fainted, and after that, so I took them through word by word, step by step, until she could understand. Then later on, I even had to take him to the mortuary before burial to confirm that any mom is not there.
What about the girl now?
Now the girl would not really ask so much, understand. We'll see people coming in the house. Other than that, there's many people coming, there's fellowships happening, people coming in differently and trying to give her gifts and all that. But then there's just an emotional disturbance of our children because of course they are feeling the presence of the mother is not around. So she will ask, where is mom, where is mom, where is mom? So I took time and tried to talk to her. Mom is not coming and she's not there. Then she'll ask me, where is she, where is she? So again, I'll tell her, I told you mom is not there, but she's gone to heaven. Yes. So mom died and went to heaven. And she asked me, are we going to go and see her? And I told her, no, we can't go because she is not coming back. And when people die, they don't come back. Yes. So she was trying to think through this. Of course, there's no proper understanding for her, but the fact that she don't know that mom is not coming back, it will try and convince her that I am here with her. But we did bond with the girl so much, even from the past. So this was very easy for me because we will go out. Of course, at times she will disturb so much because she's wanted to see mom. When I come there, then she just
During the
asks.
burial, did she disturb to see mom?
Yes,
The
yes,
coffin, and she's like, mom is not talking.
And that's actually what helped me so much because when we went home before burial, on that eve of the burial, I took her to the casket and I showed her, mom, she's sleeping there, she can't talk, she can't do anything, just tell her bye and she won't come back again. So she would be there and just wave at her and tell her goodbye, see you, yeah. So that helped her to understand that mom she's lying somewhere where she'll never come back. Yeah, so it kind of helped her to understand that her mom is not coming, but I have that with me.
And you have to remain strong for the
Yes.
children, even
Yes.
as you mourn
Yes.
for your wife.
Yes.
they are mourning also for their mother, as
Yes.
much as the small one could not understand.
Yes.
So you bury the lady, you
Yeah.
bury your wife,
Mm.
then here there's a small baby. So what happened? And who
Yeah.
was assisting you after now coming out back from hospital?
Yeah.
What happened?
So there's that small baby here, of course, with the bills in the hospital. We had about 2.6.
Bills.
Very huge bill. But I always say God brings angels to you. And sometimes when you feel like everything is just torn apart, there's always a God. There's a way God just brings things together. We got an online friend who just, took up this button to get people online. It's called Nyoro. Talk to people and people will just, contribute money, or just people contribute sending money to my phone, and so on and so forth. We got some money just to pay the bills, and over and over. We cleared the bill.
2.6 in a matter of
a week.
a week.
Yes.
So that went online, went
online.
viral.
Went viral.
And people are there to assist.
Yes.
I think I love Kenyans. When there
Yes.
are challenges, they
Yes.
all come.
Oh yes.
Even if
yes.
it's 20 bob, 100
Yes.
shillings, 50
Oh
bob,
yes. They
it
will
amounted
send
to 2.6.
2.6
Thank
million.
you.
Imagine. So I thank God that for that team. So then later on we discharged from hospital. I thank God for my mother because she came and she took over that responsibility. She came and just helped us from beginning because I didn't even know how to start from there. Although I will go to the hospital, I will feed the baby, with bottled milk for him to start knowing about, just to feed. Then of course mom was called, was trained about how to do it. But being a mother again, she just understand how things are done.
And of course, she's brought up other children.
Yes.
It was not a challenge for her.
It was not a challenge for her. So she was there to help, and I got a nanny as well, so they will assist each other.
Okay.
So that is what continued up to date.
Wow.
Yes.
Now you understand everything about children.
Oh, I understand. I understand clinics. I understand what buying, clothes in Bishara
Waking up at
Street.
night.
At night when children are disturbing and how to soothe them.
Wow.
I understand how to bathe the baby. I understand how to cook.
Congratulations.
Change
Well
diapers.
done.
All
Wow.
these things, the things that you might not have known, but those are the things. And I thank God because sometimes my mother will do these things. She will call me. For sometimes, just the way you're just saying, like, come, see, this is how we do it, this is how we do it, and she will show me and tell me today do this.
And
Today
today is
wash.
your duty to do it.
Today is, yes, I want you to do it, and I will do it.
Wow.
Not knowing actually I was prepared for that.
Wow.
So
what
it was
would you
not-
tell these men, either a widow or a widower who has been left by the spouse, and mostly for men?
Yeah.
I find it a very challenging transition because again, men are mostly things are done for you.
Yeah.
But here you are doing everything, and you have been left with the children. You are still mourning your wife. So what would you tell this widower who is just there, wondering what next in life, and could be very discouraged? And some of them, they end up having mental problems because again, they have small children. Their life is just mixed up there. Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah.
They can't understand what to do. And again, like in church mostly, as said earlier, very few people would come out and talk about it. So what would you tell them out there?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me what I can tell many people who have gone through that, one is not easy because there are stages to accept this. You're in denial, you're confused. You're looking at this world as a very different world altogether because you can't understand why things are happening to you and not to other people. So one, they have to remain strong in the Lord.
Yes.
That is one basic, because sometimes people will tell you things cannot make sense. People will tell you many stories. People even tell you that I'll be there for you after that, and they will not be there for you. So they have to remain strong in the Lord and just focus on God, because there's a way God just also, brings back that lost peace. He replenishes that peace. He gives you the strength and the courage. He gives you the grace to continue. Because sometimes you wonder even how you'll wake up the next day, but you find you've woken up. So you just hide this, because sometimes when you say you want to try other things, you will even make things worse. So they hide in the Lord. That's very, very key. They need to get a support even from a church, support from the church, and even the church is there, need to support them so much. Because when the church supports them, they find strength. So just visiting them is very important, and even them, they need to be engaged in church matters, especially if they want to serve in any department they serve. Because this time around, remember, when you sit down lonely, you'll get into depression, and stress and all that. But if you're engaged in some activity, especially in church, things become easier. You start finding yourself, engaged in activities, and then these thoughts, they are suppressed, and you find now the healing becomes easier. Then the other part is they do what they love doing. If they're in business, they should not stop business. They should continue. I know it's not easy again, but they just find to do what they used to do, because then it will keep them going. Because when you are busy doing other things, then the thoughts of this every time, of course you think about it once in a while, but at least entirely your day will be consumed in the business, you'll be meeting clients, new people. Then the other part is they need to talk. They need to
the
talk.
way you are doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because even for me, it's not easy for me to come out the first time. I was like, I can't share this out. How will I even
You
say?
told me at first you ran away from people.
Yes,
you didn't
yes,
want
yes.
to see people.
I didn't want to see people.
Yeah.
I'm the person who was engaging people, encouraging people. Of course, as a pastor, you have to preach, you have to go for fellowship. But all of a sudden, I felt like I don't want to see people anymore. I just want to be alone. I want to have just my music and myself. Even the children. And I found that if that continues, it will have made things worse. But in this time, God will still be able to, hold me together.
Wow.
He will still be able to give me his peace. And so there's some positive things that started talking to me, like now you have a child, God has, and this is the Holy Spirit. He started engaging you and telling you, you have a beautiful child. I know things happen, but this child was God has given you, this child will grow. And now I started looking at this child and I'm seeing positivity. I'm seeing, even though I lost one part, but I've also gained the other part.
Yeah,
so it's not all over yet. You can still bounce back again. You can still continue with your life. You can still, progress and even tell others. And even when this has happened, you can also tell others that things will happen. And
that does not mean that God is not good.
Yeah, it does not mean that God is not good.
Yes.
Because you can ask questions. But the truth of the matter is, God is the one who owns our life.
Amen.
He's the one who owns our life. We can't start telling God that I have to be this way or you have to give me this way. He knows why he takes and knows what he does. Because everything that he does is good. And the Bible says very well that, for he knows the plans that he has for us, says the Lord. Amen. So if he knows the plans, then even if he does this, he knows the plan that he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
And how you'll move on.
And know how you'll move on. And knows the reason why. So you'll find later on, after some time, you realize that this happened for this purpose. This happened for this purpose. Nothing just happens without a purpose. So I know, even as it happens, it was a painful experience for me.
Very painful.
Very, very. But then it's also giving me a chance to encourage people. I'm reaching out to people and telling them that it is possible. Even in loss, God. And that's why I'm encouraged by Paul. Paul says this, neither death, neither depth, neither what, can separate me from the love of God. So when Paul says this thing, he knows that God cannot change anything. And we ought to love him the way he is. And still, even as we get angry with that situation, we know that he still has to open a door for us. And we know once that happens, he will also know that how to fill that vacuum, even how big it looks. We can look at it so big, but God has a way to fill it. Right now, I'm not the same way as I was 10 months ago.
And could be you are taking things for granted when you are with your wife. Yes. Right now, you know very well, even having a wife, it takes God.
Very true.
Yes.
And men should love their wives because, you see, right now, I miss this moment, and we had a very good, encounter with her, good marriage, a time together with the children, and so on. And I miss those moments. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes with your wife, and we take things for granted. People don't appreciate the fact that they have their wife, don't even sit with her and engage with her, don't appreciate the kind of things she's doing. So men should now rise to understand that God has given them a blessing. The fact that you have your wife and the mother of your children, appreciate them. Learn that God has blessed you, engage with them, help them, even in experience. We don't just let them do everything. Sometimes they do so much, but is there a way we can help them in the small ways? We need to do that.
We need to do that.
And make sure that you appreciate every small effort they do.
Wow.
Because one day you may not have her around you.
In a very short time, that's how it happened to you.
Yes.
And let me tell you, as you're saying, it's only God. Because like me, I have lost quite a number of siblings, and there's a lot of emptiness. And it is not, I hear people talk about time, healing the wound. No, it is God who heals the wound. That is my principle. Because you can even mourn for even a whole year, 2 years, even 10 years,
Yes.
you are still, because I was being told another case, the husband passed on. So the wife would go to the grave site almost every day. And that can lead to depression even.
Yes, yes.
So it is only God. You invite God to heal you the wounds. I must say that it is not easy.
Yeah.
It is not easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Could be out there, used to take people for burials.
Yes.
But when it lands in your home, that's
Yes.
when you realize, oops,
Yeah, it is real.
it is real.
Mm.
So your parting shot.
Okay, one, I want to appreciate the fact that I will be able to share this with many people.
Yes.
Please, men, come out and share. Don't just, kill yourself with problems. I know we are sometimes hard to say whatever is battling us, but I want to encourage you. The more I talk about this, the better I get. I get to heal slowly by slowly. And it's a time, it's a transition that you go through every now and then. But I want to encourage you, please come out and speak about it.
Yes.
Another part is let's just let our relationship with God be firm. We're living in very dynamic and changing times. You don't know about tomorrow. The relationship with God means to be very strong and firm. Don't even let anything compromise your relationship with God. Make sure that it's firm. And those not born again, they need to give their life to Christ, because that is where you'll find refuge and strength, as per Psalms 47 verses 1. Then just to tell everyone that, even in every situation, there is a way out.
Yes.
In every storm, you'll always find light at the end of the tunnel. In every time of darkness, the Bible says, where there is a casting down, there's a lifting up.
Wow.
So I want to encourage everyone that hold on what you're supposed to do. Times never, nothing is permanent. Things change. Today you might be in a dark situation, but tomorrow you will get better and okay. That's my parting shot. And I'm also on YouTube. For those who might want to just see what I'm doing, by God's grace, I'm encouraging people on YouTube. I'm also preaching there. My name is Kelvin Songwa on YouTube. I'm sure I will put the description there. You can follow and just come to subscribe and see what I'm doing for God's glory. God bless you.
And your mobile number? Anyone who want to talk to you?
Yes, yes.
And especially men.
Yes.
Men, and young people.
Yes.
I'm giving you a contact here. Could be you can't be able to talk to me, but you can talk to him.
Yes. My number is 0726 496 396.
Again?
0726 496 396. Kelvin Songwa.
Thank you, my viewers, and also thank you, my guests, for taking your time to come here for this interview.
Yeah.
Mine is to say, God bless you so much.
Amen.
May God bless you together with your 3 children.
Amen.
I'm very sure God has got a good plan for you.
Yes.
And to my viewers, thank you. Nawapenda sana. And before you leave, make note of subscribing, sharing with a friend, and also making a comment. May God bless you so much. I love you. Shalom. Thank you.